was created for this. Yeah, I've been waiting on this. I taking my shot, I won't miss. Taking my shot, it's gon' swish. I know this is God's plan, I won't quit. This is His plan, I won't quit. I was created for this. Yeah, I've been waiting on this. Second guessing is over. I'm getting closer. Every door that was shut, heaven is open. Closed captions on every word spoken. Watching my words cause I'm chosen. And I cannot fail to commit. This is my time and I know it. I gotta show shine brightest in the moonlight. Shine brightest in the nighttime. Been waiting on my time.
Peace, 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 family. How you all doing? My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Ascendant Astrology, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I'm going to be discussing Saturn square Jupiter. So Saturn is currently retrograde in Pisces, and Jupiter is in Gemini at 17 degrees. And this is happening on August 19th, but we'll start to feel this. I honestly feel like we'll feel it now, if I'm being super honest. But we'll start to feel it August 16th through the 25th. 17 degrees is a Leo degree. Leo rules fifth house. It's ruled by the sun, and it's a fixed fire sign. And so the energy could be like, go just to stop. With all the retrogrades, the fire wants to take action. And this can be around any kind of leadership role or a parenting role. This is definitely fathers. This has a lot to do with fathers and father figures. So there's this dichotomy going on around fathers and sons. The fifth house rules love, fun, play, joy, romance, dating, the sex life, and mistress, creativity, children, sports. This can definitely be stocks and traveling to some degree. But definitely this is really more so about self-expression and doing some kind of project and making it your own through self-expression, whatever that is and however that plays out for you. Now we had this same conjunction back in December of 2020 in the sign of Aquarius. On a personal level, this is asking us to evolve to our higher self. This means on a global level, things have to fall apart to prevent us from things have to fall apart. The things that are preventing us from evolving have to fall apart. Try saying that 5 times. Which can look like chaos, demolition, destruction of the new world order, or destruction of the old world, however you look at it. Destruction of lies that this country was built on. It's kind of like a tower moment, right? And when I was doing the research for this, it really, really, really had me thinking about, like, what does that mean exactly? And I was thinking about, because of the Leo energy, the Gemini energy, and even Pisces to some degree is about like relationships. Because Venus is exalted in Pisces. And even though Venus doesn't really have much to do with this, I'm just thinking about it from a romantic perspective. It's unconditional love, compassion, um, and the things that we do for love, that can seem kind of foolish. It can kind of be like the fool card, even though the fool card is Aries, but energetically, it can be the blind things that we do for love, right? And as I was thinking about this and just really, really, really reflecting, I was thinking about my mom. Um, my mom could always sense when there was something wrong with my dad, whether he lost a job, cheated, or lost money, or did something in some way that could affect the family. And she always had a way of getting it out of him, like what his problem was or what happened. And her being the badass that she is, she would find a way to fix it. My mom was a thief. If we needed any kind of entertainment, movies, videos, TVs, whatever it was, she would go out with her and her friends. There was three of them. I'll never forget it. They were funny as hell. It really wasn't, but it kind of was. And they would go to the store and act like they were buying things and stuff like that. Um, and they would buy some stuff, but other stuff they had a way of hiding it or putting it somewhere where it couldn't be detected. And they would come out with, they might buy like three things, but come out with a whole bunch of other shit. My mom was a hustler. She was an addict and a drug dealer. She was a healer, a nurturer, a housewife. She knew how to keep up a home. Honestly, my mom was the realest woman a man could ever ask for. Why am I telling you this? Compassion. I think compassion is going to be the name of the game as these walls of on a global level that have been built around our pain from these kinds of stories have been constructed or turned against us in such a way to turn it into where we are today. In order for us to survive, we're going to have compassion for one another. This country has done a great job at capitalizing on our pain and dividing us. Back then, in those days, my mom was a hero in that story. Um, but as the world changed, we started to see womanhood in that way looked at as a sucker, weak, stupid. Why are you still supporting him? Why are you still with him, etc.? You know the terms that we now use when it comes to dealing with our significant others in situations where they seem to have some kind of lack. But we have to start to really understand that jobs, welfare, and education was given to women as a solution from the government to help us resolve family issues like this. The things that my dad was struggling with wasn't necessarily that he was incapable or unable to do the right thing. But he never had a father, so nobody really taught him. Um, and I talked about this sexual piece, and I know y'all are probably really tired of me bringing this up, but I'm really trying to paint a picture, and I hope that this information, this story gives you more insights to what it is I'm actually really trying to say, and it helps you in some way moving forward as because this energy we're getting ready to experience in the month of August and really to the end of the year. I don't see it being very forgiving if we're not mindful or if we don't find other ways to look at it. And so I say this like my dad would cheat, or even the idea of just sex in general is just one of the ways that we deal with a lack of creativity, a lack of the ability to problem solve, and the lack of ability to resources, having access to resources. And that's all turned into mistrust, um, a lack of confidence. I don't like her or him. Um, um, I'm jealous of them. Why them and not me? Um, it's just metamorphed into a culture of division and not knowing who we are, why we're here, because we've assumed somebody else's culture. And so we look up to people, places, and things that aren't true mirrors to who we really are. And that turns us into what we see today, the destruction of people not being able to come together. We've gained this language and things that we use like narcissists and envious and jealousy and all these kinds of things that, again, back in the days, you know, they'd be seen as survival, or we made it, or this is what we had to do to survive. Um, and I'm not saying that, we should be accepting cheating, narcissism, abuse, because everybody's story is going to be different. I'm only telling it from my lens. Use this story and expand it. Everybody's been through something that they went through from a generation before that they seen growing up, that they now look at with some kind of disdain, and rightfully so. Again, I'm not trying to say that we should keep doing these things, continue doing them, and not look at them in another way. However, um, these these things are very traumatic and karmic. However, what I am saying is, in order to fix it, it's going to take compassion to resolve these issues. There is no way for us to come out of this any other way beside coming together, having some kind of forgiveness, healing the issues and how we look at these things, in order to really get over this hump and this new Aquarian age that's trying to come in. It's going to take us to really bite our tongue against a lot of things that we might not really um, have good feelings about today. And it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. But if you don't remember anything else that I've said in this video, um, that let that be it. Because a lot of this astrology stuff, it doesn't really give you the basis of real life stories and things that people are really struggling with. Um, it's all intellectual, which is fine, but this is way deeper than intellect. We are in a massive, 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 massive transformation, and it's trying to get us to this new era of freedom and sovereignty. But we have to be able to change with the times. Now, everybody's not going to make it. I'm not trying to say be a superhero to everybody. There are going to be certain people, places, and things that come into your life that you're going to get a feeling about. You're going to know, okay, this person's worth putting some work into. And don't let anything deter you from that. I'm not saying fix anybody, because that's actually quite literally not possible. But for the right people that just might be in a bad place, they are absolutely worth fixing, or giving them another way to think about something, and being able to come together and work through differences so we both can win, right? I think a lot of this energy is going to be based off of this false pretense that we're in competition with one another because there's a lack of resources, and that's not true. I think of how in 2020 with the whole toilet paper thing, like, honestly, that's savage, right? Like, why did it have to be that way? There were a lot of people out there who were doing it and then selling them or bringing them to people who weren't able to get out and do it. You want to kind of think more like that. Aquarian is a humanitarian energy. and it really does want to help everybody. And in that way, we need to keep that in the back of our minds as we're building whatever new structure we're building on. If it doesn't include in bringing and uplifting people who are ready for that, um, take this time to rethink what your creative process or juices are intuitively guiding you towards. With that being said, and I did mention this, I think in the weekly, I might have even said it in the new moon, the Leo new moon video, is that your goals and what you want to do in life might really, really change to something completely different. Don't be afraid to do that right now. Pay attention, be open, be flexible, stay grounded, and stay in your morals and values and principles on the right side of this. Otherwise, I'm telling you, bad things are going to happen. And I'm not saying that to try to scare anybody. Karma is very real. Saturn is a karmic energy, right? And we are being spiritually nudged to grow and evolve. And trying to do that by stepping on people and being in this lack or poor mentality. Remember, poor is passing over opportunities repeatedly. Being in this victim mentality, like people are going to get a real wake up call, right? And it's just be mindful, okay? Saturn is restrictions, delays, decay, discipline, responsibility, structure, maturity, and you know, the person that you show to the world, right? It's focused on endings, completions, closure from the last 30 years because it's in Pisces. Pisces is the last sign. It's getting ready to move into Aries. So there's the Alpha, the Omega, there's endings and beginnings heavily being closed out here. And Saturn is taking this process very seriously. It's bringing to your attention what you don't need anymore, what doesn't fit you energetically. Pisces is spiritual, compassion, intuition, illusions, delusions, lack, addictions, prison mentality. Victim, on the creative side, this is like photography, filmology, um, videography, and things of this nature. Or music, art, right? Those things as well. Video games, and the Aquarius and Pisces kind of come together that way, where they can be really technology and creating like this virtual reality can be very real. And it could be bad for kids too. So that's something we're going to have to pay attention to. But on a creative side, that's happening. Sleep, dreams, hospitals, mental health. On a personal level, we're being guided to evolve on a soul level first. So it's happening in the ethereal first. And then it's going to start to get really real. And we're going to start to see this more and not just feel it as we move into these. We're moving out of the water, earth planetary changes to air and fire planetary changes. And remember, fire is all about create the creation, the creatrix. And we're gonna see it. We're gonna see it. And I'm just gonna, yeah, so Jupiter expands everything that it touches. It's optimism, higher learning, luck, um, like public service announcements and public speaking. It's law, spiritual law, religion, spirituality, philosophy, culture, morals, ethics, and legislation, laws, I think we're gonna see a lot of stuff going on that people are gonna be like, yo, like, why are they doing this? Pay attention, but not really. Because everything that they're doing really is coming in to disrupt what Aquarius is trying, the freedom that Aquarius is trying to bring to us. It's very real. We are at war, whether you see it that way or not. It is in full effect. This could also be long distance travel, higher learning, if I didn't say that already. Anything to do with airlines and websites and promotions and things of that nature. Publishing, so books and libraries, I think, are going to be a big topic as well, especially because it's in Gemini. And Gemini rules cars, short distance travel, errands, your neighborhood, neighbors, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, cousins, siblings, emails, documents, information, devices, and any kind of technology, social media, childhood education. There's going to be some stuff going on with that for sure. Workshops, and a skills training, any kind of skills training. Reading, writing, communication, and listening. And squares are the energy of Mars, which is destruction. Mars is also the ancient ruler of Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. This is mass destruction, of what we used to know, right? So there's going to be a lot of challenges, tension, and more importantly, a really strong urge to change. But we're in retrograde season. So remember, it's taking place spiritually first. This is spiritual warfare times 30. Pay attention, mind your damn business, protect your energy, and stay in your higher self. Honestly, like, because it's going to be real easy to try to be like a scammer, you know, projecting, not seeing things clearly, being in lack, and like all those lower vibrational things, addictions, escapism, which, is a double-edged sword because you want to escape from what's going on in the world. Pay that shit absolutely $0. But if you're escaping and you're not healing and working on yourself, that's a problem. I was thinking about just reflecting on how it took me like after I had got out of lockup and I went through my dark night of the soul, that shit lasted for a long time. And that was because in the beginning, I had no fucking clue that I was going through a dark night of the soul. And so the more I stayed in that energy without acknowledging it, it became escapism. At first, I was doing it because I had nobody else that I could share my experience with, without it sounding like, oh, I'm trying to be cool, or it's cool because I got locked up and I had this really like strange, weird, exciting, but degrading experience. And I had all the people in my circle that I had around me had never been through anything like that. So I couldn't talk to anybody without it being taken seriously or getting some kind of compassion or sympathy for it. So it turned into depression after a while. And so, when you're not careful, when you don't know what you're going through, this is how things change to the lower expression, because they're really not too far from one another. It takes that one thing, that one trigger, that one whatever that can send you spiraling into a very dark place for all the wrong reasons. where you start to believe people really don't like you when that shit's not true, that this person's out to get you and that shit's not true, that, people want what you want when that shit's not true. You know, a lot of the times we're just not being taught that, right? There's no school or thought or education out there unless you're really looking for it. You have to go looking for it in order to know the difference. Because when you don't get what we have now, where there's a culture of division, hatred, malice, jealousy, again, all those mad, petty, unrealistic, made up, make believe things when we're all just really trying to survive and get through it. But if you don't know where to go, you don't have people to look up to, it turns into what we have today. Sorry to be so repetitive, but that's just the bottom line. And so together, these things can kind of look like receiving a lot of spiritual communication, learning through your intuition, signs, symbols, and synchronicities, even your sleep and dreams, being disciplined in your spiritual practices, reading, learning, and writing more when it comes to your spiritual practices. This can be miscommunication, tension between father and son, political conflicts with father and son, or male figures in general. This can be problems with the stock markets, pharmaceuticals, especially both stocks and pharmaceuticals and actual pharmaceuticals, natural gas, coffee. I don't know why I wrote pirates in here. I think it's because it's Pisces. It's the Pisces energy. And so there could be some stuff more around the boat that ran into the bridge. I can't remember where that happened at. There could be follow-up stories about that, or the submarine, or really anything about the ocean. We could have massive typhoons, hurricanes. Gemini is an air sign. This is wind, right? And the squares it's bringing up a lot of commotion, and Jupiter is expanding all of that, right? And so anytime you have mutable squares, it's weather. It's something to do with weather, right? And so there could be like a lot of typhoons, like huge waves, anything to do with water, flooding, rain, tornadoes, hurricanes, not so much earthquakes. The earth energy is kind of dissipated, even though we still have Uranus there. It could be, but I'm trying to think of more air and water type weather issues. Okay. This could be problems or issues with stocks around cell phone devices, um, diabetes medication. This could be stuff about side effects coming up, mental health issues on sleep, especially feeling like you're being spiritually attacked. But these things can also be supportive through your creative writing, fantasy, um, Disney, I'm trying to think. This could be more like documentaries, um, any kind of creative arts project like paint night, um, musical chairs, anything to do with music, dancing, um, watching the Olympics. Gemini is definitely has a lot to do with the Olympics, or doing some stuff like that, or something to that effect. Walking, running, riding a bike. Um, yeah. Something to do with your feet. So getting like a pedicure, massage, those types of things can be super, super helpful for any kind of distress you might be feeling at the time. Um, and obviously, counseling, like Um, oh my God. I only went to school for this. The fact that I'm having a hard time remembering it is driving me crazy. Using art as a therapeutic process. Um, yeah, so Disney stocks can be affected here in some way, social media stocks, but there could also be some really big issues with Disney and social media, especially like censorship, freedom of speech. Um, yeah. This could also be any kind of educational stocks. Yeah. This could just be health issues in general. I think I did talk about there being a possibility of another pandemic, not necessarily in the same way, in a different way, but nonetheless, it's just health issues in general can be a really big problem. Um, Cancel culture, surveillance, lies and things coming to light, issues in religion or between two religious countries or between like issues with people in religion, like leaders, um, a whole bunch of scandals and stuff like that. Um, this can even be things about what do you call it when people like plagiarism, when people write something that has already been written or stolen something that has already been written, whatever legalities around that type of thing can come up. I know that's something going on with Tyler Perry right now, which uh I mean, I could get into that, but I don't care. um Navigation systems, there could be issues with that between cars, planes, and boats. Any kind of software stock, so like meme stocks, um cryptocurrency. um I feel like it's the S&P 500. um yeah, so you really want to focus on like gold, silver, any American stock, to be honest. um yeah. And there could be another internet blackout and or more stories about the internet blackout and a whole bunch of conspiracy theories about what that might be about and all that other stuff. So yeah, I know this was really like ran through and not that long. I feel like if something's telling me I already did a video on this, but I couldn't remember. But I definitely did want to just touch back with it a little bit more and go a little bit deeper. Um, and I hope, in some way you really, really got something from this. I really, really feel like this has to do with relationships and not just romantic. Seriously, like all relationships. Like this is going to challenge us when we say we're for everybody and we want people to come together. Like how, Sway? When we have these deeply rooted darkness within us. And so, deal with your shit, be honest about it. Honesty is going to be your best friend. If you don't like somebody, say that shit out loud. If you can't say it to that person's face, stay the fuck away from them, or you will receive karma. Like, this really is not a time to be in this low vibrational energy. Don't make assumptions. Don't assume things about people. Like, check your facts. You know what I'm saying? You really, really, really want to be in your highest vibration at this time. Um, yeah. As usual, family, I love and appreciate you. I really do hope you found this information helpful. Peace.